Hey, David.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Good. Um, so where should we start? I guess I can start. I did talk to our leadership, and the position was that we while we recognize that you can't lump everybody that belongs to a certain group together as all being the same people.
I'm going to do so because I'm a little weasel and I have absolutely no scruples whatsoever. So if you want free speech, I guess you're going to have to go to Fund My Comic. That's your only choice.
Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet? Has to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty. I know not what caused others. As for me, give me liberty, or give me death.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, this is Cooper, Telepathic Bunny Comics. Welcome to the second episode of Breaking Bunny. It turns out last week I did break some stuff. So I did have some fallout. Some stuff happened behind the scenes. But we're not going to talk about that. Like I said, no apologies. I aim to misbehave. We're going to move forward right into the future. Anyway, so this week, I'm going to add a new segment to the show about this show. I get so many books. Hold on one second. Oh, the bunny telepathic Wolf Lear. What's up, dude? Hey, man. you're going to tell me how to pronounce that correctly. I don't think I'm doing a good job. Anyway, it looks like Wolflier, but there's a umlaut on there. I'm not entirely sure how to hit that. Anyway, but one of the things that I have been known for is I do some shout outs or whatever. Do some hey, good evening. What's up? Fabrizio Aiello. Hey. It's a very musical name there. Very Italian too. Anyway. But I do some reviews, as it were. And if you're a smaller book and I like you, I will push your book. Or if you're a big book and I can't hurt your bottom line, because quite frankly, you have a people that follow you no matter what, and no matter what you put out. They don't just give a crap about the quality. They'll follow you and they'll back you anyway. Then if they have a bad book you put out, I might give a negative review, because it's not going to affect you anyway. But you should be putting out better product if you have that many resources and you got that big of a rabid fan base. So that's two kinds of books that I wind up. And sometimes if you've got a big book and you do a really good job, I'll say something about that too. But this week I chose to do the spotlight. Doesn't currently have an active. I think he does have an active campaign. Not an active campaign, but an active store. Let me check that out right quick. I don't want to speak out of turn. 1 second. Let me do a research right quick. Let's make sure this is up. Yeah, it's up. All right. So I need to put this later on. Anyway, this book is available. That website right there. You'll have to excuse me. I have to do my own modding. So let me go ahead and later on, I'm going to pin this right quick. But later on, I'll put this in my description. It's not there currently. It's running behind today. All right. So that website right there. And keep an eye on these guys, Broken Compass Comics. My friends James, Rock, Odin, Dasco, and the crew over there. Those are the two figureheads, but and big brains behind everything. Anyway, James Rock used to be a ghost writer for major comic book companies. He can't say because he's his own words. He's what is it? MDA'd up the butt. Okay, so sounds very painful. Anyway, that website makes my eyes hurt. Yeah. Right. But they are about to put out a book called Kill Them Dead, which is going to change pretty much everything. It's a book that's basically the whole thing's a black light poster. And it's basically hand drawn, hand colored, and it's going to have an album, a vinyl album with it. With original music. They're working on everything right now. Odin Dasco used to be lead singer, several rock outfits. I've heard a lot of the music that he wrote, original music. And he's very, very talented. So that album's going to be really good. I really believe it's going to be good. I think I have a local band doing the music behind it and everything. But he lives in Seattle, or not Seattle, but somewhere like Portland or something like that. The big music scene wherever he is, Pacific Northwest somewhere, and so that they're going to make an album, and I really am excited to see what they're going to come up with. Well, this book is available on that website. It's called Magnificent Bastards. It's the first in the series, okay? And this right here came with it. It has a bookmark and some other accoutrement, some original art, some stuff like that. And this book right here, it's really cool. You can tell James has some serious writing chops. He does pulls some tricks in this book that I haven't seen in comics, period, very often, outside of the very, very good ones. And the coloring and everything is just top notch. He does his own lettering. He's very, very interesting. He does his own lettering so he can control what goes in the balloons and rewrite stuff. So he's got control of the content from the beginning of. Okay, all right. It's pronounced no different than Wolfler. Wolfler. Okay, all right, or Wolfler. German Wolfler. Anyway. But it follows a kind of a ne'er-do-well named Monty through his misadventures. This is a guy, he just a victim of circumstance, he's born to a couple of porn stars, and so that it's kind of like a sad story. Looks like he's ended for a bad end, and then it takes this turn about the third act that's just like something to behold. So if you're interested in kind of like the science fiction, well written science fiction with a lot of great dialogue, snarky sense of humor, and really fascinating twists, that's the book. That's a book for you. Anyway, and keep an eye on that, guys. Keep an eye on those guys. I think they're launching on Kickstarter. I'm not entirely sure when, but when that comes out, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a real game changer. Indie space and comics in general. They're really got some clever stuff going on over there. Anyway, that's my shout out. If you want to check out the website, it's pinned over there. Anyway, in the chat. But warning, just like Radiant Radio said, it will hurt your eyes. It's kind of everything's like neon, kind of like neon. Anyway, so get to the rant subject of the day. That's the Bunny Book Club. I'm gonna start having some dividers here. I meant to make them up this weekend, but I ran out of time. But anyway, so rant. Okay. There he goes. Broken signups are now on Indiegogo as well. Thanks for the shout out, kind words. Yes, sir. Yep. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah. I mean every word. That's one of the most clever written books that I've seen anywhere in indie or mainstream. Now it's not for everybody. Disclaimer: it's definitely not safe for work. It's got some violent images in it, so don't buy it and give it to your 8-year-old. Anyway, tons of more info on Kill Them Dead on Indiegogo. All right. I thought you were just going on Kickstarter to start, but okay, Indiegogo too. All right. Pay attention to that. Okay. Thanks for the information, my friend. If you got the link for that campaign or the sign up, go ahead and I think you're wrenched. Let me find out if you're wrenched or not. If you are not, You are not. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me fix that. And add as moderator. Okay. Boom. Done. All right. Oh, hold on. So move as a managing, put as moderator. Standard. Okay, there we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Now, I made him a moderator, but I gave him like a full, like, you know, I made him God mode moderator. So I'm not entirely sure I want James Rock and, you know, that much power in my chat. Anyway, just kidding, man. Post any link you feel is, you know, to any campaign you want over there. All right. Anyway, same with Rating Radio. Anybody that has a campaign or links like that, you know, let the moderators know. Anyway, so talked about the rant. Okay, they finally did it. Okay, yeah, you're wrenched, dude. You are wrenched. I wrenched you. Check again. Anyway, all right, they finally did it. Now, after a while of flirting with it and messing around, they finally did what they'd been kind of playing with for a while. They finally killed off Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. Now, they'd been messing with him for years and years, not sure what to do with him. I think at one point he was a ghost writer, and another point he was a herald for Galactus. I think at one point he was a Frankenstein. Frank Castle, Frankenstein. Yep. Yeah, that original. Anyway, but then like last year, they messed with his iconography. One of the things Punisher was well known for was the skull on his front, on his chest. People would like had it tattooed on them. People in tanks overseas, like my friend Tank Ferret told me that this was a thing where they would put the skull tattoo or the skull on their vehicles, kind of like as a way to get motivated, you know, that they were punishing. They were going to be a punisher, right? But young men all over America, all comics loving young men and people like that, they developed an affection for Frank Castle because Frank Castle could have been a victim, but chose not to be a victim. And, you know, he had the weaponry and he had the know-how. It's kind of like that speech, you know, that taken, you know, I have a certain set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. That was Frank. That's Frank Castle. And he was kind of like retired. He was back from overseas. He was kind of doing his own thing with his family, and got caught up in a shootout in the park, and his whole family got wiped out except for him. He almost got wiped out. I mean, he got some should be lethal injuries, but he managed to survive them. And next thing you know, he's driving a van around America and going after the criminal element. And he did what a lot of people wish they could. It was like wish fulfillment. You know, people see stuff like kids get molested or, you know, girls get raped and, you know, drug trafficking, cartels, things like that. Well, Frank did something about those things. And it was kind of like wish fulfillment, I guess, to where, you know, we wish people would take out the mob. Well, Frank took out the mob, you know, and you cheered him on. You had his book, you know. And I think he first showed up in Spider-Man. He is a Spider-Man villain because I don't know, J. Jonah Jameson had fingered Spider-Man as a villain, and Punisher decided to take him out. So that's how he showed up in Marvel Comics. And but he had developed, and he's an anti-hero. I don't think he was always the most heroic figure. But over the years he kind of developed a following, that just so iconic, right? And he had some really good writers. One of them is Mike Baron. Mike Baron really took the character to new places. Mike Baron also wrote Nexus, which is kind of like Punisher in space and things like that. Hold on one second. Will Punisher still be in the new Daredevil show? I have my doubts. I don't know. I have my doubts. They seem to be making a lot of weird decisions with that show. And I just don't see the people that are handling it, the people that are writing it. I just don't see any good product coming out of those people. I think it's going to be a complete travesty, unfortunately. But anyway, I mean, they got the guy like wrote him in that god awful She-Hulk show. They got him like writing on the writing staff of this new Daredevil. And so I just don't. The Punisher van was his own character, yeah. He had the creepy conversion van, it's kind of funny. You drove around in something that you'd think some skeezy child abductor would drive, and he was the guy that killed child abductors, put them through wood chippers and stuff like that. Anyway, I was going to show this video that kind of like, it's called Laundry Day, and it's he used Thomas Jane version of Punisher, and it was like if somebody gave Thomas Jane the characteristics he should have had in that movie, which wasn't entirely Punisher, but this was like Thomas Jane playing the Punisher, and it was really good. By the guy, Punisher's like doing his laundry, and this pimp starts beating up on his girl, pretty severely beats her, and Punisher's kind of like, just doing his laundry, minding his own business, and he goes across the street, gets a Jack Daniels bottle from the liquor store, and the owner's played by Ron Perlman. He's kind of hiding out in there, and he's like, I wish somebody do something about it. And Thomas Jane's like, hold that thought. And he goes out there and he like beats up the whole gang with that Jack Daniels bottle, and just completely, totally beats down the pimp and pours Jack Daniels all over him. And then he walks away, but before he walks away, he puts a lighter, lights it, and puts it down beside the guy. And then he walks off, and the prostitute picks up the lighter, right? And you see him like putting his laundry into his van and just kind of like ho hum, it's just Tuesday, right? And then you in the background you hear that guy screaming and flames start leaping up, and he just drives off. But that was the Punisher, that was like the perfect vignette of who the Punisher is. He's not there to make friends. He's not there for justice. He's there for punishment, right? He wants these people to suffer because they've made people suffer. And this very, I guess it's kind of like, what is the word? It'll come to me, but everybody kind of like feels that way. You read the headlines and you see these awful things happening to people, and you wish somebody do something about it. And especially this day and age where all these videos come out of people just getting beat down, mostly white people, and because it's open season on white people, if you haven't noticed. And I mean, little ladies getting beat up and things like that, and videos being taken, mostly by the people beating them down because they know they're not going to be touched. And we see this happening day after day. It seems like it'd be a perfect time for somebody like the Punisher to be in the culture. But this is the time they chose to like completely, totally destroy the character. Last year, they started with they changed the iconography. They changed the skull to a demon, Oni demon. Had him join the Hand because the Hand was going to bring his wife and kids back. And so they brought the wife and kids back. Hold on one second. Thomas Jane Berthal did a good job of that character. Yes, it did. And Ray Stevenson did a really good job. R.I.P. Ray Stevenson did a really good job. A Punisher War Journal. If you haven't seen that one, it's worth a watch. He did a kind of like a Punisher, kind of like really, really over it, you know, kind of like burned out a little bit, and just he's just doing it because that's what he is now. It's a pretty good movie. They had some chick direct it, you can tell, but he did a good job with what he had. It's worth a watch anyway. But things like that, you know, they're putting his legacy, putting his character in the hands of people who not only did not understand what the Punisher is, did not like the Punisher, had no use for the idea of justice and retribution and avenging. And those people, they just kept screwing with the character. And last year they brought his wife and kids back, and that's like integral to the character. That pain, that's like hey, let's bring Batman's mother and dad back. Then why is he Batman? You know, just really an asinine thing. And then, but then the other day, his wife divorces him, takes all of his stuff, and then kills him. You know, after he's like begging her, you know, and just cucked him out, and it's just disgusting. And a lot of people were really having a problem with it. I saw video after video. I saw tweet after tweet. Is really producing a lot of content for people, and I was. It surprised me how much people are still allowing the Marvel and DC to get to them. This is where the rant comes in. Why are we still crying? Why do we still care? Okay. This is Tough Love from the Bunny. Okay. There's something called a Rubicon. A Rubicon comes from when Julius Caesar crossed the river called the Rubicon, and it indicates that a point of no return. Once you cross this place, this point of return, no return, you are committed to your course. There's no going back after that point. You are stuck. Okay, there's no way back from this. That's what the Rubicon means. Okay, and Marvel and then DC have crossed the Rubicon. They destroyed fundamental characters. They destroyed canon. Star Wars has crossed the Rubicon. Okay. Most people think it happened with the Last Jedi, but I think it happened earlier than that. But you know, Doctor Who crossed the Rubicon with the Timeless Child. All these things that we loved, all these things that we enjoyed, have pretty much have crossed the Rubicon. There's no way back from where they've taken this stuff. Okay. There's no way back. And so why are we still letting them hurt us? Why are we still letting them get to us? Why when occasionally the hostage takers bring out one of their hostages and decapitate them in front of us to prove a point to people that no longer exist? Why does that affect us? Why do we care? Why are we still letting these IPs be important enough that we can be hurt by it? That's interesting to think about. One of the things is the outrage merchants that we have. We have this outrage culture. These people that are basically making bank on people's pain. One of these characters get messed up. One of these characters get destroyed. Super Sons, which is one of the last great books that DC ever put out, which was John Kent, Superman's son, and Damian Wayne, the latest Robin, also directly Bruce Wayne's son, with Talia al Ghul, but they had this great chemistry. There were two boys finding their way in the world. John Kent had superpowers. Hold on one second. They love to see destroying what we love. Yeah, they do. They do love it. They do love it. Okay. They love it. Okay. But that Super Sons was a great book. It was a beautiful book. It had boy in it, had innocence in it, had this friendship at its core. Because Damien didn't human very well, and John was naive about the world, and so you had the cynical kid who couldn't communicate with the ordinary people, and you had this naive kid who was just the sweet boy that everybody liked, trying to be friends with this prickly guy, and find his way in the world. And so what happens? Brian Michael Bendis, one of the biggest villains in modern writing, has destroyed so many characters, so many worlds, and has contributed hardly anything. And this guy aged John Kent up to late teen status, right? And then gave him a boyfriend and made him gay and gave him a boyfriend. This guy is supposed to be emotionally about 8 or 9 years old, and he made him a teenager and gave him a boyfriend, a gay boyfriend. And nobody bats an eye. And then there's a whole comic book, and they just like lauding this comic book. Oh, look, we got a gay Superman now. This guy is supposed to be emotionally 8 or 9 years old. And they can have him having sex. Okay? Talk about grooming. I mean, talk about grooming. And oh, by the way, he's having sex with a purple-haired activist, right? And he's holding up signs and placards and stuff. And we're supposed to be okay with that. And some people are still outraged by that. That one damaged me. That one hurt my feelings because I love Super Sons so much. It reminded me of my brother. My brother who passed away. So I had a personal connection to that book. I got all the trade paperbacks on that one. But the thing about it is, though, is these people, we got to start like stop letting them hurt us. We got to stop letting them affect the way we view the world. We need to stop letting them, hold this stuff over us, right? Because it's not coming back, guys. It's not coming back. They have crossed the line too far. And plus they have showed that they are willing to do so. And yeah, they might have the next guy might be good. The next guy might love the character. The next guy might have a good arc. I'm told that the Immortal Hulk started out really good, but then they changed writers, and the guy they put in there is an activist that's going to just destroy the character because he has no investment in it, right? And because look at their talent pool. They're on the extreme coast. They're right in the middle of communism. They're right in the middle of DEI and gender politics and race politics. These people are just like weaned on this shit. So how are we supposed to expect them to represent what people who love comics love, like Punisher? They can't. They're living in an entirely different environment. They're living in an anti-America environment. You're expecting them to write Captain America or Superman. What are we expecting? What are we expecting from these people? Hold on a second. Mortal Hulk was great. There you go. It started out, I was told it was great. You need to pick this up. But I'm like, yeah, I might like it for the first run, but then they're going to like, oh, crap, we got a good writer on it. Oh, crap, we got somebody that loves the character. We better get them off as soon as possible and put somebody completely woke. So they developed an audience. They got people reading this book. Oh, perfect time to slip in propaganda. Even if we like it, even if we support it, ultimately the next person is going to be slipping propaganda in. Ultimately, because these companies are flawed fundamentally. They're flawed, and there's no way back. There's no way back. What happened to Punisher was inevitable. I am shocked that it took them till now to do it. But I think it's because they needed his wife back in his life so she could girl boss him and completely cuck him out, masculate him before they killed him off. I mean, it was an assassination. But it's an assassination for somebody who's been dead a while. Okay. These things are dead, guys. They're dead. I mean, occasionally I'll watch somebody like Wes from some of these comic channels that still believe in the mainstream, and just listen to the pain. Up is down and down is up. Right. But you listen to these guys that are like doing reviews of mainstream comics. They're still involved in the culture. He was dead since they changed the logo. Yeah. There you go. But these people that are involved in the culture and trying to like review these books, and you hear the pain and the confusion in their voice because most of them are kind of left. The guys that can still stomach these comics are pretty much left leaning. But even they can't take the egregiousness of it, People like T. Franklin, who is let's look at the laundry list, guys. Person of color, lesbian, a former sex worker, handicapped. The queen of the progressive stack. And she's vile on social media. Vicious and vile on social media. Completely, totally thinks the world owes her everything. And she writes her characters as self-inserts. So you'll basically have a god-awful character who like lectures everybody and self-righteous and shames everybody around them to not treat them better. And that's what you get. That's the kind of characters you get from her. And plus, she has no sexual mores. So you get something filthy happening in the comic with, and it's just like, that's one of the main writers they have now. She's the queen of the progressive stack. She's like the Vida Ayala, Mags Visaggio, which is like the purse puppy that they have writing everything right now. Mags Visaggio, god awful writer, but formerly Brian, and they just basically gave that sucker every job in the industry that's worth having. And then Vida Ayala come along, calls herself brown and queer, and clearly a female, and they gave that marginal talent. She's a little bit more talented than Max Visaggio, and they gave her like every major, basically gave her pick of any X-Men job she wanted, which is one of the reasons why, the whole entire room emptied out at one point. And then, and T. Franklin's the current queen of the progressive stack, and she'll be getting every job. She checks a lot of boxes, man. Checks a lot of boxes. And so, guess what? More horrible stuff is coming. More character assassinations is coming. And now it's in the MCU. What you see in the MCU happen in Marvel now, around 2016. Wanted to get us all back for Trump. And so they destroyed everything. And gender swapped, swapped it all out. And these movies in the MCU were just riding high. And then people go to the comic book shop and there's nothing to sell. There's nothing to sell because they race and gender swapped everybody. And now they're doing it in the MCU. Race and gender swapping everybody. Just like they did. And it killed them back then. It's going to kill the MCU. The MCU, I guess. What Gary from Nerdrotic says, right? And every once in a while, he's clever. Anyway, they hate the Second Amendment. It's one reason they hate the Punisher. Everything is a mass shooting, and they seem to think they're somehow at fault for having a character who uses a lot of guns. Yep. That's one of the many reasons. That's one of the main reasons. Every time. Right. Well, so why are we crying about it? Why are we still mourning? Why are they still getting to us? Why are they still affecting the way we go about our day? Why? Why are we still holding on to these people? Anybody comes out that has a pedigree of the big two, we give them 6-figure books in the independent comic space. Anybody that comes out of the big two, yeah, that's worked for the big two, automatic, at least 5 figures. Automatic. It's like that cachet that they have. Some of these guys are really talented. Some of these people are really sweet guys, and love them to death. A lot of them, I love them to death. But why do we throw money at them? Because they were working for Marvel and DC. Because we're still obsessed. We still have a soft spot in our heart for them, right? And I'm not saying not support these guys, but we support them ridiculously high, at a ridiculously high rate, considering the amount of comics that are out that aren't meeting funding goals or might likely be. 10K is like celebration, cause for celebration. And some of these guys make 10K in a half an hour. Why? Because they worked at Marvel and they worked at DC, and we're obsessed with those two companies. We're obsessed with them. And but the indie comic space, books like this one didn't make 10K. It should have. It should have made way more than 10K. This is an awesome book. And it's clever. It's got this on the back of all these fake, back of comic books. They had these crazy advertisements. And so he came up with his own advertisements, wrote his own advertisements. And it's, clever crap, clever stuff like that. And yet that book didn't clear 10K. You know, very well written. And oh, by the way, he might have worked for the big two, but he can't say one way or another. But anyway, Ripple launched today and already broke for 400K. Oh, you mean Rippa? Rippa launched today, already broke 400K. Yeah. And Rippa is a pop culture, you know, one of these guys that is like, you know, criticizing things like Punisher being cucked out. And people are clicking on it. Oh, let's see what Rippa says about this. You know, let's see what Gary Neurotic says about this. Let's see what the G&G guys say about this. And oh, by the way, they just had like a get together in Texas, you know, where they're able to fund a whole entire facility for people to come and meet and greet with them like they're celebrities. And it's just like, nostalgia is a bitch. Similarly, Frank's character is like they did Peter Parker. Now I'm feeling this good amount of people keep reading and see how bad it can get. Yeah. Hate watching. And we click on these guys commenting on it, you know, and endlessly commenting on this stuff. And it's like, oh, you know, let me give you the pattern. Okay. I hate product. This person says they hate product too. And this person agrees with me that product is bad. Let's get it onto a panel and let's all dogpile on product. And for your amusement, you know, make fun of product. Okay. And then oh, did I mention I hate product? You know, Geeks and Gamers, what's his name? I don't give a shit what his name is, but he was on Critical Drinker. And they're talking about the Marvels thing coming out in November. We are the Borg, right? Yeah. But they're talking about that coming out in November. And he said something that I thought was so important. Okay. He says, they're like, well, what if it's good? What if it's good? And he's like, I hope it isn't, because I'll have content for months if it's not, you know. And then the whole thing over Star Trek Picard 3 season 3, somebody actually got it that loves Star Trek, and they did a good job on the show. Jeremy, I don't care. Ryan, Jeremy, I don't give a shit. Geeks and Gamers lost any respect I had when they didn't take Zack Snyder behind the woodshed for showing up and calling them all racist when they raised $100K for his daughter's foundation. When they didn't do that, why were any of us following them? Why would anybody have any respect for them? That sucker got on Geeks and Gamers after they raised $100K for his daughter's foundation, and the motherfucker called them all racist. And there's black people on that panel. And they let it go. They let it slide. Okay? Why does anybody have any respect for him? I don't. I haven't clicked on a Jeremy or Ryan, you know, video since. I mean, I occasionally watch Gary from Nerdrotic because he's hilarious. You know, as versus Babyface, I watch him. His rants are legendary. And I watch Critical Drinker and Mauler because I just love those guys. I just love the way they break things down, because they not only tell you why something, they not only say how much they hate stuff, but they tell you why. And they break down what's wrong with it, and that's pretty much important. But the thing about it is, though, is why do we let this stuff get to us, man? Why is there a whole ecosystem of people that are succeeding off of our pain? I mean, why? Because we can't let it go. We just can't let it go. You know. I mean, we've got new product coming out all the time. New product coming out all the time. There's stuff on Fund My Comic right now that are 10 times better than anything DC or Marvel has put out in years. Years. Okay. And oh, by the way, Private American, written by that same Mike Baron who put Punisher on the map, is basically Punisher at the border. And it's on Fund My Comic right now. It was banned off of 3 platforms. Banned off of 3 platforms. You know, Kickstarter killed their campaign. IGG shadow banned their campaign. And Crowdfunder, the little clip I played at the beginning is a little weasel from Crowdfunder telling Chris Braley that they were that their comic was, their campaign was killed. You know, because, you know, well, not that I lump everybody together, but Comicsgate is a hate group and you're associated with Comicsgate. In other words, I'm lumping everybody together. That's why I did that clip. Okay. Great advertisement for Fund My Comic. But it's on Fund My Comic right now. And if you want Punisher the way Punisher used to be, you know, get that book. Now, it's got a way to go before it's as iconic as the Punisher. And it's maybe a little pedestrian. From the look of it's a little pedestrian. I didn't get the book because I've never really been a Punisher guy. But I mean, it's Mike Baron. I mean, the guy can write Punisher, you know. The guy's gonna write Punisher, right? And it's on Fund My Comic right now, you know. And all these campaigns, man, all these books are out here, right? And the thing about it is most of these people are first time creators, or are independent creators, people who have never been part of the mainstream, never been part of the big two, and so they don't have that. It might not have that pedigree, but they have a love. They love the characters. They love writing new characters. They're writing the future. They're writing the replacements for these characters because we gotta mourn them, guys. We gotta mourn them and walk off. We gotta leave them behind, and gotta walk away from the mainstream. Gotta walk away. If we know something's bad, then don't give them clicks. Don't give them clicks. Okay. Peter Pan and Wendy, who didn't see that was going to be a shit show, you know? Hold on a second. I think Marvel and DC have good comics feud account. This aren't promoted by the companies. The people fuel the outrage on social media. I do prefer indies, though. Give me the new. Yeah. Every once in a while, there's a gem. You know, every once in a while, there's something worth backing. But, you know, I mean, used to, you could go to the comic book shop and oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That looks cool. You know, put it on my pull list. You know, let me follow this a while. And one of my favorite comics of all time is a comic called Damage. Grant Emerson was his name. He turned out to be a child that was like born of the genetic material of the Justice Society, and he had like all in his DNA, you know, things of the Justice Society. But he was too powerful, and he blew up downtown Atlanta. One of the first things he did was blow up downtown Atlanta, and it caused a lot of damage. Hence his name, Damage. And I just love the fact that this character couldn't really control himself. He's like, was a disaster area and caused damage everywhere he went. Love that comic. Didn't last long because they didn't handle it right. And then they erased him from history by calling somebody else Damage later on, after they killed him off for the Blackest Night, the Blackest Night affair. They used him to kick the whole thing off. Killed him off and didn't bring him back. and then it caused somebody else damage later. Yeah, looks so cool. DC should have pushed him. Yeah, they should have pushed him. It was a great character, but they didn't. But you know what? I mean, you'd find things like that every once in a while, but you're gonna find that in indie comics now, right? And I'm hoping Damage sometimes drops into the through public domain. I'd love to write the character. I'd love to write him myself. I think I'd do him more justice than they would. I actually like the character. Anyway, so bottom line, why are we still crying? Why are we still crying? Why does this bother us? Why when they drag out one of the hostages and cut their head off, why are we glued to the television? Why are we outraged? Why does it hurt? How does Disney see Punisher as problematic and they seem okay with Deadpool? Because Deadpool is LOL. He's a lol cow. He's not serious. He's not taking anything serious, and he's not really, he's not really good or bad. He's a chaos agent, which I think appeals to them. So yeah, that's why Deadpool gets a pass and Punisher doesn't. Because Punisher actually stood for something. Deadpool doesn't. Deadpool doesn't stand for anything. I mean, he doesn't. He just doesn't. As much as people love the character, he doesn't stand for anything. So he can't. If he doesn't stand for anything, they can make him say whatever they want. It's just what they want. They want mouthpieces. They want vehicles for their propaganda. They do not want characters to stand for anything. That's why they killed Captain America. That's why they're killing off Superman, and Spider-Man's been their chew toy. Spider-Man's been their chew toy. Okay, but I mean, that Into the Spider-Verse thing that they just put out. I mean, I watched the first one. I was amused by it, but then I didn't hear like 3 people talk about the next one when I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to pass. Anyway, and they brought Michael Keaton back as Batman for this Flash movie, and they say he's awesome in it. He's Michael Keaton Batman, and I don't have any desire to see it. I just don't have any desire to see it. I haven't seen an MCU movie in the theater since Endgame. I just don't care. They lost me. It lost me a long time ago. And I just don't have any outrage left. But watching people melt down about Punisher, it just, hold on 1 second. Deadpool hasn't stood for anything since the 90s. While I love Ryan Reynolds, he's pushed the goofy side of Deadpool's character to the extreme and ruined the nuance for the comics. Yeah. The comic's just a joke comic now, Just they took all the edge off of him. Anyway, good points, guys. Yeah. Well, Aaron's my man. You pay attention to Aaron. He's got good points of view on everything. Just the bottom line is, eventually we just got to walk away. We just have to walk away. The next outrageous thing that they do, we just need to yawn and move on. You can't let it affect you, guys. It's only going to get bad. It's only get worse. We're only going to see them destroy every character that we loved once upon a time. They just killed off Stephen Strange last year, and then they brought him back because surprisingly nobody liked Clea as the Sorcerer Supreme. They just didn't. Of course they're not. Of course they don't. Of course they're not going to like Clea as the Sorcerer Supreme. They killed him off and made Brother Voodoo as the Sorcerer Supreme, and then they're surprised that didn't work out. I mean, You just got to walk away, guys. Not only walk away, but when somebody wants to make money off of your pain, don't give them clicks. You know, don't give them clicks. You know, I mean, we gotta develop a new ecosystem where new IPs, new things coming out, have more precedence over. You know, oh, who did they destroy today? Who did they ruin? You know, who did they completely, totally take out of context and destroy them, utterly destroy their whole entire impetus? You know, it's just going to get worse. Just cauterize the wound. Just consider them dead. Move on. The mainstream is dead. We're the new mainstream. We just haven't got. The thing hasn't flipped yet, but it's going to flip. We're the mainstream now. And when you look at the numbers that Eric July just got 400K, when's the last time Marvel or DC got 400K on a comic on one day? When's the last time? It's been years. And this guy went 400K one day. So the mainstream, we're the mainstream now. There's this whole thread. If you want to know where the mainstream is, there's this whole thread that comics killed me or something like that. I can't remember what is. You guys remember that thread? It's hashtag comics did like killed me or something on Twitter. Hold on one second. Let me look it up. Hold on a second. If you have an itch for the mainstream, read back issues. Yeah, absolutely. Save your money for indies and brain cells. Right. Yeah, what's that hashtag? Comics broke me. That's it. Take a look at that hashtag. That's where the mainstream is right now. That's the state of the mainstream. But oddly enough, while all the people that work for the mainstream use that to kind of dump their horror stories, indie guys used it to say, wow, you know, comics broke me in that, you know, they broke me out of, and I'm making my own comics now, and I'm happier than ever. I'm making my own IP, and I'm making money off of my own IP. It's a very good. You want to see the difference between where the mainstream is in indie comics? Check out that hashtag comics broke me. Just click on that hashtag and read. It's very informative. Anyway, that's all I got for the day. Thank you for the fluffiest chat and all the YouTube for showing up, keeping me company in this afternoon. And that's been Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. And y'all have a good day.